Oh, hello there. Welcome to News, Games, and More, IGN's daily live news show. I'm Damon Hatfield, and I hope my guests are waiting in the wing, about to be introduced. Let's find out. Today I'm joined by Casey DeFreitas.
Hey, guys.
She is there. There's everybody. And
Hey.
Akeem Lawinson is here. Welcome, Akeem.
Yo, thank you.
And Destin Legary is joining us today.
Bam! Hey, everybody.
Stepping out from behind the scenes, in front of the camera.
I've been locked in a production
where
room.
he belongs, a lot of us would say.
Glad to be here.
How is everybody? I was asking the viewers. I was expecting them to start typing into comments.
We're waiting for them to comment, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, lots of news to talk about today. This Monday, June 22nd, we'll talk a little bit about next-gen news, some things that are being either shut down or put out to pasture. But first, let's start with the biggest news of the day, which is probably that Crash Bandicoot 4 is officially official after sort of leaking over the weekend. Crash Bandicoot 4, it's about time. You're looking at the first trailer for that here. It's a brand new game, canonical sequel to Crash Bandicoot, warped from 1998. So it's only taken, 22 years to get the next game in the Spyro series, developed by the developer of Spyro Reignited Trilogy, Toys for Bob. And this is coming out this year, October 2nd, for PS4 and Xbox One. It's a full-priced $60 game. I have no idea why it's not coming to Nintendo Switch. Casey, tell us why.
I assume this game looks really good. I know the Switch has a problem playing games that look really good. That is my best guess. That is a super low-tech answer, super low expert answer, but that's generally the reason why.
I think I have a reason as to why I think Crash is not going to be on the Switch. Right now, I don't know how many of you all are familiar with those early commercials back in the 90s with Crash, but he was a bit of a provocateur. Like, he would always make fun of Plumber Boy, I believe is what he called him in the commercials. As a matter of fact, he even went down to Nintendo HQ once and doxed, I don't know if the address was available, but he doxed Nintendo America in a national commercial. So I think that's the reason why, because he was always just like needling Nintendo in those commercials. So that's my best guess. And this is Nintendo's way of getting back, like, you know what? By now, we should have had Crash in Smash. But it's because of his behaviors back in the early 90s that he's not in Smash and he's not on the Switch. That's
I did always see him as sort of a PlayStation mascot back then. And I could be wrong, but I think that's what they were going for. So
here's an interesting thing. We're getting a new Crash game. We're getting a new Ratchet and Clank. Are we getting a new Sly Cooper somewhere in there too? Because that would kind of complete the holy trinity of those platforming games from back in the day, right?
I also want a brand new Spyro.
Time.
Yeah, that's pretty good. We would also need another Jack and Daxter, though.
Heck yeah,
I believe.
So I know Janet Garcia is a huge fan of Jak. I know Jak 2 is her favorite game ever, and even she says she doesn't think we need a new Jak, but she would play it, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way.
Yeah.
This looks great, though. I really like the style they went for.
Are the three of you all like Crash fans? I asked because I wouldn't consider myself a Crash fan, and nothing really against it. It's just this sort of like very like linear sort of on rails platforming is not quite my thing. I like the more open exploration platforming of like Mario 3D games. But I think Akeem, you said you are a Crash fan.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, one of the things is, like, I'm happy that we're finally getting a Crash game, and like the title suggests, it is about time. But are we just going to act like the wrath of Cortex never happened? Like that was the fourth game in the long list of Crash titles, and so I'm kind of a little bit, perturbed by the fact that they're just negating their history of Crash titles that followed after the third. But I did hear mention of a multiverse, so I'm hoping they do allude to like the various different paths Crash has taken over the course of the years that have passed since the third iteration of Crash. Because I want to see Crunch. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Crunch Bandicoot.
No.
No one's familiar. Crunch. Crunch is like, he's like, all right, to compare it to Donkey Kong, he would be like Funky Kong to Crash.
Okay.
So he's like, he's
sure.
huge, big, muscly armed Bandicoot. He's like their older brother. But anyways, again, I don't want to get down the Bandicoot rabbit hole or Bandicoot
hole.
I don't know if they have dig holes. I don't know.
Akeem, will Crash 4 be your first PS5 game?
No way. No. My first PS5 game is going to be Grand Theft Auto 5, sir.
Well,
because the reason I asked, this one falls in that forward compatibility spot, doesn't it?
Yes, I was going to point out, it's supposedly, and this is actually not confirmed. This is just reportedly, Sony told developers that PS4 games submitted for certification after July 13th must be forwards compatible with PS5. Crash 4 is coming, October 2nd. So presumably it wouldn't have been submitted for certification before July 13th. So yes, should be playable day one on your PlayStation 5. But GTA 5 is not going to be playable day one, Akeem. I don't know if you're waiting 6 months down the line to get a PS5, but that one's going to be coming later.
Wait, it's not?
No, because it's a version for PS5 that's coming in 2021.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
totally
for GTA.
Well, then,
that.
yeah, it's got to be Crash Bandicoot. To answer your question, Destin.
I knew it.
Wait, Casey, are you a Crash fan?
I am not. I played the game quite a bit when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I was always terrible at them, so I did not try to get on that train again. I, like you, prefer my games more open, especially when it comes to platforming.
Yeah, I get that. And then Destin, you haven't played these games?
I mean, I have. I'm not like a super Crash fan or anything. I think it looks like I like the character design. So
yeah.
They all got a really good glow up without changing them too drastically. They just look better,
100%.
like better versions of themselves.
Now, Crash Insane Racing is available on Switch, right, Casey?
Yes.
So
I
that was
so.
sort of
with some
hints at,
frame rate issues.
Okay. Well, so maybe there's a chance that Crash 4 could come to Switch with some frame rate issues sometime down the line.
At a later date. And let that happens. So, they actually did put, all right, look, I always mix these two up. The Outer Worlds, they did get that to run on Switch. So
yes,
there is hope.
Heavy caveats, but yes.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? There are heavy caveats every time one of those games comes on the Switch. But I mean, they got The Witcher 3 looking better after many updates. Same thing with what was it? Bloodstained? I'm having so many blinks right now.
Ritual
But
of the Night.
There we go, that one. But these games eventually end up looking a little bit better than at launch. So maybe they're just doing this in advance and delaying it so they don't have to release a kind of not great game at the start.
Yeah, that can make sense. I initially thought it was a little strange that this was coming October 2nd, presumably just about a month before the launch of PlayStation 5. But like we were discussing, this should be playable on PS5 at launch. And we also just got confirmation, just minutes before the taping of the very show you're watching right now, that Marvel's Avengers, which is out September 4th, I want to say, if you purchase that on PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, you'll get a free upgrade to the next-gen version of that. And on the PlayStation blog, they explained a little bit about what the benefits you'll get at least for playing on PS5. The blog post reads, PS5. As gamers, we sometimes want every ounce of power put into extra graphics features to achieve the highest image quality possible. For this, Marvel's Avengers will offer an enhanced graphics mode on PS5. At other times, we want the most fluid gameplay experience possible. For that, Marvel's Avengers will offer a high frame rate mode on PS5, which targets 60 frames per second with dynamic 4K resolution. So it sounds a lot like a little bit how PlayStation 4 Pro was going to give you options whether or not you want to prioritize graphic fidelity or frame rate. Does that sound right to you, Destin?
Yeah, and sorry to jump the gun there, but I'm super excited about Avengers actually because it has sort of that leveling mechanic that I really like in most of the games that I play. And the PlayStation blog actually has a bunch of screenshots sort of showing what it's going to look like on the PS5, and just wow, like the game is looking really, really good from a graphical fidelity standpoint, obviously. PS5 greatly lifts the performance and graphics bar for consoles. The new GPU allows us to increase our texture resolution, push a higher level of detail farther from the player, enhance our ambient occlusion, improve our, oh my God, I'm bad with these words, anisotropic filtering, and add a variety of new features such as stochastic screen space reflections. Anyway, the
so now
screenshots
Des
are
is
probably
going
on
to explain what
IGN.com.
all that means.
No, I'm not. But it looks real pretty.
Yeah. I think it means the game will look pretty if you play it on PlayStation 5.
Perfect. That's all you need to know.
And we should get some more details on Marvel's Avengers later this week, I believe. But getting back to Crash just for a moment before we move on, those first 3 Crash games were made by Naughty Dog. Do you guys agree it's a little hard to imagine Naughty Dog making a game like that, like Crash Bandicoot, today? That seems like a strange fit to me. But Akeem, you were a fan of those games. So I guess just what I'm looking for is, what do you think about Naughty Dog's sort of journey from the maker of Crash Bandicoot to Uncharted and The Last of Us?
Yeah, I think it's similar to, like, you know, us as adults now. Like, you know, we were immature at one point in our lives, and so, like, you have to grow up. I couldn't envision them making a Crash Bandicoot game today, or what that would even look like. I mean, it might be it might have some darker undertones.
Yeah.
Like Crash might be missing a couple of limbs, is what I'm thinking.
You'd probably find out
eye.
that Crunch has a dope problem. That's why he's so huge.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so it would be a totally different, like, game if it were made by the Naughty Dog of today.
Anyway, good news for Crash Bandicoot fans. It's out October 2nd for PS4, Xbox One, full price, $60. Hopefully it'll be available on the Switch at some point. Speaking of PlayStation games, time for a news quick hit. We've just got word that Ghost of Tsushima, the presumably final big PlayStation 4 exclusive that we know of, has just gone gold. And I'm not exactly sure what going gold means for a game today in the age of digital distribution and day one patches. But traditionally, it's been a nice sort of milestone, meaning the game is done. We're done working on it. Now we're going to start getting it into the hands of gamers. So, Destin, are you excited? I know you said you're excited for Marvel's Avengers. Ghost of Tsushima is out, I want to say July 17th. Are you excited for that one?
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked to get my hands on it. I really like the photography mode that they're adding to the game, the way that they kind of organically have the UI elements, like wind is going to direct you to different things, and the combat absolutely looks phenomenal. So I'm really, really excited about this, and I'm happy that the team was able to, you know, celebrate and announce that their game has gone gold. Props Andrew Goldfarb, formerly of IGN.
Yep.
And the rest
Andrew
of the team, I guess.
Andrew Goldfarb made Ghost of Tsushima all by himself.
Single-handedly.
Amazing. And now, Casey, Ghost of Tsushima is out the same day as Paper Mario.
I know.
Are you going to play Paper Mario first?
Okay, look, I've been asked this question before, and I'm not going to lie. I am more interested in Ghost of Tsushima. I know I'm the Nintendo Point Chat host, but Ghost of Tsushima looks awesome, right up my alley. I love open world action adventure games, and the kind of themes that it brings into it are very interesting to me, and I'm very excited to play it. And I like Paper Mario, but I don't know. When you say brand new open world action RPG,
that's a little bit more
stoked for that.
Speed.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm excited for both those games. I will probably also play Ghost of Tsushima first. Akeem, how about you?
Ghost of Tsushima, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm
Sorry,
not.
Paper Mario.
I've never gotten into the Paper Mario series. It's I don't know. It's just something about it. I'm not like a huge. Again, she's gonna kill me for saying this, but I'm not a huge fan of Paper Mario. I like.
I don't
my
think
Mario
Casey
to
is
be
either.
3D. Oh yeah,
I like it, but I'm not.
But
I don't know.
But you're a fan of Plumber Boy, is what you're saying, though.
Yes.
Would you? Okay. See, I'm not a huge fan of Plumber Boy. Sorry, Crash
Oh,
guy.
you not like,
to.
Well, okay. Hold
What's that?
on. You're not even a fan of any Mario games?
I mean,
It's okay.
we're probably going
It's just
to talk about
unusual.
this a little bit. We're going to talk about this a little bit later. But I mean, I was a huge fan back in 2016 of Super Mario Run. You know, like I get my little kicks playing on my phone, like when I'm like, you know, on the toilet or, you know, on the airplane or something for about 15
on the toilet
minutes.
in the airplane.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm not saying I'm not I'm not a fan. I appreciate Mario, is what I would say.
Wow. No,
To be honest,
it's just unusual.
I actually I generally like Paper Mario games more than traditional Mario games. Just because I like RPGs more than platformers generally.
Okay.
So, but still goes to Tsushima.
Okay. All right, let's move on to games that might be coming in the future. It sounds like Rocksteady, developer of the Batman Arkham games, it sounds like their next game is going to be a Suicide Squad game. The footage you're seeing now is not from this game. It's from the celebrated hit film Suicide Squad. Yeah. The reason why people are talking about this is domain registrations for a game seemingly titled Suicide Squad and also Gotham Knights have been registered. It's suicidesquadgame.com, Suicide Squad killthejustice.com, which is that's too long for your website name, and gothamknightsgame.com. Then there's also a report from Eurogamer that seems to confirm that these are actual real games that are in development. They say the Suicide Squad game has been in development for years, and potentially Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is the game's full title. So I guess my question here is, Destin, we'll start with you. If this is true, would you be excited to play a Suicide Squad game from Rocksteady?
No. I think it's part of the marketing scheme, though, to be honest, because they've done a good job in the past. Like, if you think back to some of the older Batman films, I believe the Christopher Nolan, the one with the Joker, the second one, there was all this viral marketing where you could actually go in the world and find things. So I'm wondering if this is sort of introducing some of the characters that are going to be involved with the new property, and maybe that's more what's going on here, as opposed to that being the focus of the game. Now, I do think a Suicide Squad game could be interesting, but obviously I want my traditional superheroes, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, like Justice League characters. And I would hope that would be the focus more than the Suicide Squad team.
You don't want to be the bad guys.
They're fine. And like, there's been stories where like Batman is on the Suicide Squad team and they take a suicide mission and, because Catwoman's involved or something like that. So we don't know where they're really going with this, but I'm intrigued to learn more. I think it's part of their marketing scheme, though, as opposed to a whole game focused on them.
Were you a fan of the Batman Arkham games?
Oh, heck yeah. I did the guide for 1 and 2 on IGN. I did all the capture for it. And I remember me and Brendan Gray were hunting down all the Riddler collectibles for City. One of the first assignments I got at IGN was to recapture Arkham, the first game, and just do commentated walkthrough and clean walkthrough. So and I still love those games, even though I had to do that work. I think Casey knows, like, everyone, once you do a guide, you're usually burnt out, but I still love that series.
Yeah, no, that does say a lot.
Okay,
not Night,
Casey.
Though. Night, I'm a little.
Now I want to hear an example of a game that Casey did the guide for, but she still likes.
Actually, I did the guide. I did the full walkthrough for Pokemon Sun and Moon, and I still like those games. And I still played the end game well after it. Let's see, another game. Gosh, I've done so many. God of War. There we go. Still liked God of War. Still wanted to play God of War after doing it. But I didn't do the full walkthrough for that one. That's the caveat. I did the side areas and side quests.
Did you do what was the hardest difficulty, Casey? It was Give Me God of War, right?
Oh, that game. Okay, that game was hard.
Yeah.
Did you try it?
I don't think I even bothered because I beat the Valkyries, but that gave me trouble. So I just didn't even want to mess with it.
It's pretty brutal.
Especially since I was trying to get through it for the guide, and it's like most people aren't going to be playing it on that difficulty. I didn't want to punish myself and halt my progression by making it more difficult.
Oh, absolutely. I did normal too.
Totally reasonable. Now, Casey, the Batman Arkham games are the sort of open world action games. It sounds like you're saying you were a fan of. Did you enjoy those games?
Yes, I did. I actually didn't finish either of them because back when they came out, I borrowed them and didn't finish them before I had to return them. Unfortunately, I know I'm failing today at all of these things. I just haven't beaten these things. I haven't even watched Suicide Squad. So
I think that's okay.
I apologize. I think that's okay too. I heard that it was fine.
I think
Maybe
that's probably the
fine is a
nicest
good
thing
assessment.
anyone said about it.
Yeah.
Fine with that exact inflection, and I think that's how most people feel about Suicide Squad, so I just haven't watched it. But I think it could be a fun game, and I think the premise of the team is fun as well. So what might not make a good movie might make a good game, and you will probably still get cameos of all of those Batman characters that you do like. So I think it'd be worth playing.
Well, that's why I wonder, people love the Batman Arkham games so much. People love Batman, but I don't know that people really care that much about Suicide Squad. So I don't does it even really make sense to try and push them as like the team you're playing as in a game? I don't know, Akeem, what do you think?
Hold on there. Okay, there are some heavy hitters on the Suicide Squad. Okay, you got Poison Ivy, you got the Penguin, you got Slipknot, not the band, Killer Croc. There are some people that were on this team that were pretty damn iconic. And so I think, like, from my perspective, I would love to play as the villains, and honestly, just because I want to see how a game like this would even play out, because these are like high risk missions that the Suicide Squad goes on, and it doesn't matter if you live or die. They don't care. That's why they're sending them. So I'm just kind of curious how that dynamic might play out. Like, will I respawn, like if I accidentally fall off a cliff, or is that the end of the Penguin? And now I got to choose like someone else from the Suicide Squad to play as moving forward in the game. So I'm just kind of curious, like how that dynamic's going to play out.
Yeah, to your point, Akeem, like a lot of people think of like Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, and the characters from the movies basically as the Suicide Squad members, but there have been heroes that have been forced on the Suicide Squad also, and some really, really compelling characters like, I think we know about Deadshot from the movie, but like Batman, Joker, they've been forced to team up before, and like basically Batman kind of gets them to act like a team just long enough to pull off the mission in those stories, and it's usually kind of a cool mix. So I'm really curious as to what they're doing here with the Suicide Squad registration of the domain, and I don't know, they piqued my interest at least.
Well, I think the next Suicide Squad movie from James Gunn is supposed to be out next year. So that would kind of tell us, I would assume they're sort of aiming, the game's probably not going to be like a tie-in to the movie, but they probably want to sort of put it out in the same sort of release window as the movie when interest in the Suicide Squad is highest. So if this is true, I would expect it to come next year. What about this other game, Gotham Knights? The rumors are that this is the one from WB Montreal, the long-rumored Batman Court of Owls game. People love the Batman games. Court of Owls is a really cool story in the Batman universe. Akeem, I'm assuming you're familiar with Court of Owls?
Not particularly, no. Destin, are you familiar with this one?
Yeah, I'm a big Batman nerd, so
I've read it too.
I queued him up there.
I've read it too, but I guess what I was wondering, I think Court of Owls could be a really cool setting for a game. I guess I just wonder if are people open to another developer, not Rocksteady, making their Batman games. There was also Batman Arkham Origins.
Oh yeah. I think
right?
that one, like, it was good, but it was just like that much off, and I don't know what it was about it, but yeah, it was just fine. But it's not one that I would ever want to go back to. I forgot about that one, Damon, until you brought it up. So what about you? What do you think? What do you think about a Court of Owls setting? You'd like it?
Yeah, I think that it's a cool setting, and it's a setting that a lot of your more, if you want to call them casual Batman fans, don't really know about. But it's about this secret society that's been running the whole show of running Gotham, going back hundreds of years. But yeah, it's like you said, you don't remember Batman Arkham Origins because it's from the B team. And I know that there's people in the chat right now lighting us up saying that they love that game. Sure, that's fine. But a lot of people forgot that it even existed. So I think people like the games that Rocksteady made a little bit more. But now Rocksteady's not making this Batman game. They're probably making the Suicide Squad game. So it's a little bit, it's hard to know what you should be more excited about. So knowing that, Casey, how does all that sound to you?
I'm more interested in the Gotham Knights or Batman Court of Owls game just because you were all just talking about the setting being a cool setting. I see some people in the chat saying Court of Owls is amazing from 4240. And So I'm more interested in a new Batman story because I'm a mostly casual Batman fan. I've read a couple of the comics back in the day, like I mentioned to you guys, The Killing Joke and some of those, but I don't have an all-encompassing knowledge of Batman, so I would love to play a game with an already vetted story that if everyone agrees to be great, rather than
That's a good point.
Squad.
That's a good point. Sorry, I was just trying to take a look at chat too. Okay, I think we can move on from that topic. Well, we are going to be talking about Batman a little bit more later on in the show. We're going to swing back to Nintendo for just a few minutes. Today, we've got a report that Nintendo is reportedly stepping away from mobile games. As everybody probably knows, Nintendo was resistant to getting into the mobile game business for a long, long time. Finally broke down in, I think, 2016 with Miitomo. And since then, they've released Super Mario Run, which Akeem is apparently a big fan of, Fire Emblem Heroes, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, Dragalia Lost, Dr. Mario World, and finally Mario Kart Tour. But according to the reports today from Bloomberg, they're planning to pivot away from mobile games because they've been disappointed with how profitable those games have been. So let's begin with our resident Nintendo expert here. Casey, what do you make of this news?
So I was actually pretty surprised by it because I thought that their games are doing fairly well, especially Fire Emblem Heroes and Dragalia Lost. But I looked at some data from Sensor Tower, and the past couple of months, mobile games have actually been booming, and people have been spending so much money and so much time on mobile games because they're all stuck at home. But where a lot of other mobile games have been, like PUBG, for example, have been seeing like exponential growth, all of Nintendo's online games have actually dropped in revenue, which was completely surprising to me. But now knowing that, I do understand why they've made this decision, especially with Nintendo Switch now doing so well, because I think they began their kind of entrance into mobile games when the Wii U was out, and the Wii U, as we all know, didn't exactly do that well. So they're trying to make up for where the Wii U was falling short with mobile games. But now with how well the Switch is doing, they don't really need an extra market. Though I really liked Fire Emblem Heroes, and I really liked Dragalia Lost. But Dragalia Lost was even made by Sai Games, which is one of the biggest mobile game makers in Japan, and they historically make very successful mobile games. And it's surprising to me to see that it wasn't more successful. But I also wanted to, I'm sorry, I'm just like going on about this, but
no, it's great.
I think the way that Nintendo is doing mobile games is not the best. I mean, they've continuously made mobile games that, like, for example, when they came out with Mario Kart Tour, and it wasn't immediately available to play multiplayer, and I think that was just not a good move. But I think they could do really well by just taking old Nintendo games and releasing them on a mobile platform. I mean, we know it's doable. I mean, we have The World Ends With You on mobile. Capcom even released a Monster Hunter for iOS. So we know it's doable. So why not put out the Pokemon and the old Mario games on mobile and just charge a flat fee?
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts.
No, it's good. That's all really good stuff.
I'm looking up the Nintendo games. Now, I know Pokemon Go is technically Niantic, but there's a Dr. Mario World game, there's Super Mario Run, which I did buy, and there's Animal Crossing and Mario Kart Tour. I'm kind of surprised that none of those were a hit. I remember when Mario Kart came out, that was sort of, a lot of people were interested in on IGN, and I think we did gameplay for it. So
yeah, I don't think that interest it wasn't sustained. You know, I think everyone checked out in the first week or so and then moved on. And if you do, I glanced at the iOS App Store charts today. The only one of those games that's in the top 30 most downloaded games is, I believe, Mario Kart Tour. And then none of them are in the top 50 highest grossing games on the App Store today. So there is evidence that they're probably underperforming. But Akeem, you said you are a big fan. Or maybe not. Maybe big fans being too much.
No. I was, again, this is 2016, 2017 we're talking about. I was a fan of Super Mario Run for a while, just because, again, it was just like a great way to kind of just pass time, you know, while I'm going about my business, to, you know, playing as Mario. But then it just got to a point where it's like it's too simplistic. And I believe there were microtransactions, and I was like, you know, I don't want to pay money to you know, go to a new level. This is just ridiculous to me. And and I just got to the point where I was just like, I have why play on this when you can play on Switch?
Mm-hmm.
That I can get my Mario fix on this thing, and it looks a whole hell of a lot better than it does on my iPhone. So obviously not playing Super Mario Run on there, but just like playing Nintendo-based games on my Switch is much more satisfying.
Yeah, it's almost just as easy to bring a Switch to a bar and be antisocial as it is to play on your phone and be antisocial. So why not just go with the
There you
Switch?
go. Exactly. Yes.
I think a lot of sort of Nintendo hardcore fans would probably take this as good news. In fact, the top comment on our article on IGN from Nav the Conqueror reads, "Awesome! Please dedicate all efforts toward the Switch and whatever system comes next."
Mm-hmm.
So Casey, it must be like sort of validation that Nintendo has found success in the mobile or handheld gaming space once again, because I think in 2016 when they got, like you were saying, when they got into mobile games, the Wii U was failing, and then the 3DS was sort of on a long and slow decline in popularity because of the rise of mobile and tablet gaming. So yeah, do you think this is sort of like a validation that Nintendo with the Switch has sort of found their way again in the handheld gaming space?
Yes, absolutely. And we've talked about this before, I think you and I, where the Switch is a console that no other game consoles can compete with. And that sounds not right because, as we just talked earlier, all of the other systems at least have graphics on their side, but the Switch is portable. You can take it with you. It's small. You can do a lot of interesting things with the Switch that you can't do with other consoles, with the Joy-Con, for example, and their haptic feedback and their motion controls. And I know the other controllers sometimes have motion controls, and they, like the PlayStation controller, even has a touchpad, but not a lot of games utilize those controls, whereas when developers make games specifically for the Switch, they have that available to them, and they come up with really unique ideas that you can't really get anywhere else. So I think the Switch has the portability and the interesting dynamic that the other consoles don't have, and I'm very happy to see it succeeding so well that Nintendo wants to abandon its mobile efforts, even though I think they could have done better, but it's fine.
Yeah. It would be interesting if someday, some years down the road, if Nintendo starts porting its mobile games to a handheld console device, and you're playing Super Mario Run on Switch 2 or whatever.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, I actually really want a full-blown Dragalia Lost for the Switch. I really liked the idea for that game, and I liked the gameplay. I think if it was fine-tuned for an actual console to be made a little bit more skill-based rather than tap-based like it is for the phone, I think it'd be a really fun game.
I never played Dragalia Lost, but I do love the art in Dragalia Lost. That's a really pretty game. Just like Nav the Conqueror in the IGN comments said, he hopes they dedicate all their efforts toward the Switch and whatever system comes next. Destin, what system do you want to come next from Nintendo? Do you want a Switch 2? Do you want something different?
That's a tough one. I don't know. I definitely think their whole portable structure is really, really solid. So maybe just there was that rumored Switch model that would just be like a little bit more powerful. Maybe something like that, I guess. Like, I don't really have an answer, to be honest. Kind of put me on the spot. A little bit more powerful Switch.
Well, Destin, that question is in the notes for today's show if you had read through them.
I was looking at the costumes for Smash, and I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
We'll get to the costumes to Smash in just a couple minutes. Akeem, what are you hoping that is next, hardware-wise, from Nintendo?
Oh man, hardware-wise from Nintendo, I'm hoping they make a watch.
A Nintendo Watch.
Cool. That you can play
Nintendo
games on.
Watch.
They made that. It's called Game & Watch.
I know.
Sure.
No, I don't know. No, I'm saying, I'm joking. Obviously, I don't know what to expect from them next. I definitely am not anticipating like a souped up console. I mean, I'm happy with the Switch right now, and I feel like a lot of people are. Oh man, I don't know. I don't even know what would be next for Nintendo if I were to even predict. Like,
it's hard. It's very hard to predict what Nintendo's going to do. I doubt anyone knew they were going to put out a free jump roping game last week.
Yeah.
But Casey, real quick before we bounce off this topic, do you want a more powerful Switch? Like, do you think that's what Nintendo should do? Should Nintendo put out a Switch that can run Outer Worlds without any caveats?
The answer is yes. I've been waiting for a Nintendo Switch Pro that can play these games better. I don't know if they're going to do it. But I think Nintendo altogether is completely unpredictable, and I think that's one of the reasons why they're so charming.
I would agree. Sticking with Nintendo for just a little bit, we've got a new character for Smash Bros. Ultimate announced today. Min Min from ARMS. I believe she has spring arms, or I guess, I don't know, maybe every character in ARMS has spring arms. But you're looking at footage of Min Min in Smash Bros. Here. Casey, what do we need to know about this DLC character?
All right, this DLC character is part of the Fighters Pass Volume 2, and if you've already purchased it, it should have been $5.99. She will be available on June 29th. The trailer for her was very adorable. I recommend everyone go watch it. It features Captain Falcon and Kirby eating ramen at a noodle shop where she works at, and then she hears fighting off in the distance for the Smash letter, and then goes and beats everyone for it. And people might be asking, like, why Min Min out of all of the other characters? And the producer of ARMS actually specifically asked Sakurai, the director of Smash Bros, to use Min Min. Sakurai also considered Ninjara the character of ARMS. And look, I'm going to be honest with you, I actually never played ARMS. I'm sorry. Terrible, I know. But
you do play Smash Brothers.
I do play Smash Brothers. She has all of her moves because of those spring arms, and they actually also confirmed that these aren't cyborgs or some aliens or whatever. They're just people with the arms ability. Don't know totally what that means, but that's what they said, so we're rolling with it. And
cool.
So she has a lot of long-range attacks with her arms, and she's said to do well against heavier characters like Donkey Kong or Ganondorf, but might have more difficulty with combating and countering lighter characters with good airtime, kind of like maybe Pichu or Pikachu. But she looks really interesting, and she also can change out her arms to different attachments that do different things. I love this video. It's very cute. Look at all this attention they're playing to Captain Falcon. Maybe we're going to get an
awesome.
F-Zero game.
Yeah, this is like the most screen time Captain Falcon has ever had.
Yeah, it is. But Min Min, so this is especially interesting because we were previously told that if a character is a spirit, or a sticker, or whatever you want to call it, in Smash Bros. Ultimate, they would not become a character. And this is why, or if it's an item or anything like that. But Min Min is a spirit, but now she's a character, so that rule is now out the window, so now we have nothing to go on. So anything is available. Possible.
Nice. Let's see. Akeem, do you play Smash? Are you excited about this?
I'm not a huge ARMS fan, but I was blown away by the video that we just saw with the Smash invitation. But I was also puzzled a little bit by it because typically with these invitationals, aren't they like addressed to the actual characters? It seemed like this one was just tossed into the ARMS universe, and whomever gets it gets it. Like I was kind of thrown off a little bit by that. Just again, like putting myself into the world of Smash. It seems like anyone could have gotten this invitation into the Smash universe.
Yeah,
maybe that's some clarification on
how the invitations work.
I mean, ARMS is a fighting game.
But you just toss the invitation into the universe and just whoever gets it gets it. I don't know.
Actually, the way you put it, it does sound extremely disrespectful.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
Making people fight over it is incredibly disrespectful. But hey, I know we both said like none of us have really played ARMS, but maybe having an ARMS character in Smash will create new ARMS fans who might want to go and check out the game, because I know Smash has done that for a lot of other series as well.
Yeah. Well, ARMS fans should be up in arms with the way this all played out. That's all I'm saying.
Whoa.
That's all I'm saying. Destin liked it.
Oh boy.
Destin liked ARMS. He 100% of the game.
No, that did not happen. Not once. I do like the idea of her combat mechanics being sort of interchangeable with the arm mechanic, though. I do think that is cool.
Yeah.
I was very distracted by the amazing costumes that are in the same story on IGN.com though, because we got the bobblehead from Fallout, Pip-Boy.
Yeah.
Pip-Boy in there, yeah. That was pretty. That was a surprise to me as well.
Gosh, that is.
Yeah.
We get so many crazy Mii costumes for Smash. I mean, we also got Sans from Undertale, right? Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
We get a lot of crazy stuff. I love what they're doing with Smash. I always like it. And also, like, kind of off topic, but Sakurai has actually given his employees work from home equipment so that they could work more comfortably from home. How nice is that?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. We saw Sakurai playing the game from his home in the video, I believe.
We actually saw his house, and he has 2 TVs, so when people come over, they can have their own screen.
Yes, I was like, wow, that's pretty baller, dude. Like,
yeah, it's pretty
seriously.
Baller. So Casey, Smash Brothers is a year and a half old now. So what's the sort of read? Is there still a lot of excitement around this game? Is the community still really active? Are there still people looking forward to these new characters?
I definitely think there are. Whenever a new character comes out, we always boot it up and check it out and play it. It's one of those. For me, Smash is an evergreen game. It's a game that I always know I will play Smash when I am with friends. So whether it's like, for example, fairly often when I'm at my friend's house, when we're in a D&D group, whenever we take breaks, we play Smash. I know it's crazy. We're taking a break from a game to play another game, but you know, we do what we do. And same thing, whenever I visit my friends back home, we always end up playing Smash. And I assume there's a lot of other people like me that whenever they have a friendly gathering of more than a couple of people, they bring out the Smash Bros. And I think that's going to continue on.
Yeah. Okay, that wasn't the only new character announcement for a game we got today. For Smite is getting a couple characters from Nickelodeon. Is that right, Casey?
Yeah, we're getting Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra characters. I am so excited to see this. This trailer is awesome. We're going to get more information about this on Wednesday, June 24th at 12 p.m. But for those who don't know, Smite is a third-person MOBA game. So think kind of like League of Legends, but with its own stuff. And then you're in the action because instead of having the more overhead RTS style camera, you have the third-person action camera. And Smite historically does awesome things to its skins. So yeah, these characters aren't brand new characters. They are skins of previously existing characters. Like Merlin is getting the skin for Aang, Susanoo is getting Zuko, and Scotty is becoming Korra. These characters all, in my opinion, seemed like they would work really well with these characters. So Merlin, who's going to become Aang, is a mage, and Susanoo is an assassin, but he uses like wind and storm. So they're probably just going to change his moves to look more like fire, as you can see in the video here. And then Korra is a skin for Scotty, which is a Norse god that uses ice, and she has a wolf pet. So instead of having her wolf pet, you're going to have Naga, the polar bear dog. I think these are great choices to make skins for these characters, and I'm really excited for this. I was telling you guys earlier, I actually picked up Smite again because I saw a skin for the character called Nemesis that looked kind of like a Monster Hunter outfit. I didn't even get the skin, but I put in another 80 hours, like no big deal. So I see these skins bringing back a bunch of lapsed players as well as a ton of new players, because Smite is totally free to play on every console, and these skins are going to be part of the Battle Pass in July. And some of these skins will be free, but some of the special ones like Blue Spirit's Zuko, sorry, spoiler for those of you who haven't watched The Last Airbender, and Avatar Korra and Avatar Aang will come with the premium battle pass, but otherwise you can get these skins for free just by playing. That was a lot of info. There you go.
It was a lot of info, but it was all useful info. Akeem, have you played Smite?
No, see, that's the thing. I've never played Smite, but like seeing that trailer with those characters from a very, very popular animated show, I'm sold. I'm gonna start playing Smite just to check it out, just because I want to check out playing as Avatar characters. And I actually recently just got into Avatar on Netflix, but I knew of its popularity for years because I have tons of friends that are like, "Hey, have you watched Avatar yet?" No. Okay, you should watch it. It's awesome. It's amazing. So I know of its popularity. I am aware of it. I just never got into it. But like seeing them play out here in Smite, like I wasn't interested in Smite before. Now I am. It's the same thing that happened with I don't know if you guys know the game Brawlhalla. They got skins for Steven Universe and Adventure Time, Cartoon Network properties. I was never interested in Brawlhalla before, but I became interested because like I'm a huge fan of those two animated shows, and I know there's definitely going to be an uptick in downloads for Smite because of this, and hopefully this isn't the last that we'll see Nickelodeon characters in Smite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know if any other fighters though, but
it could be Inspector Gadget maybe. I also have never watched Avatar, but I've always heard it's amazing, like you say, and now it's on Netflix. Yeah. Destin, have you watched Avatar?
Yeah, you got to watch it, Damon. It's really, really good.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah, so it's really good, and I've also played Smite a little bit, not a ton, but these characters fit perfectly for this game. It's definitely like interesting enough that I'm like, oh man, I should reinstall Smite and hop in again and just sort of mess around, because that game is really fun. It has a really, really good gameplay loop of sort of, just kill the bad guys, and it's a fairly low bar to entry.
Simple enough,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the easiest game mode in Smite is Arena, and it's just 5-on-5 fight each other basically. There's a lot more nuance to that, obviously, but if you're just trying for the first time, I recommend that game mode because it's pretty simple to get the grasp of, and you can kind of learn your characters and how to build them in there. Yeah, I really like Smite, and it's cross-play as well, so you can play with your friends on different consoles, including if you're PlayStation and PC or PlayStation Xbox, all that stuff.
Very cool. All right, moving on to some news that I found surprising today. Today, Microsoft announced it is shutting down its streaming platform Mixer and is now going to partner with Facebook Gaming. The very show you're watching right now, just last week was streaming on Mixer, but no longer. Destin, I know you're heavily involved in the streaming world. Was this a surprise to you?
It was a surprise to everybody, including people on the platform and people employed at Mixer.
Oh, no.
They just revealed this to everybody, and it's just been sort of devastating. Some of the major streamers like Ninja and Gothalion from the Destiny community, those guys just signed a contract. The rumors for Ninja were like $20 to $40 million. They got paid out for those, and they're able to just be free agents. But I don't know if the same story can be said for everybody else. I have read, so I'm collecting all this sort of throughout the day, but it looks like the people who were partners on Mixer were offered a $2,500 sign-on bonus to Facebook once they meet the requirements. So they are trying to do something for these people, but everybody was just shocked and astounded by this news this morning. It was pretty it was wow. I never expected this. Just like, hey, Mixer shutting down, surprise everybody.
Yeah, like the news that really surprised me is just that, like you said about these big streamers, Microsoft has been paying literally millions and millions of dollars to secure these popular streamers on their platform, very recently, just like this year. So it's just to pivot away from it, shut down the service after they've spent such an incredible amount of money to secure these talents. That was the part that was surprising to me.
Yeah, so Ninja's official statement was, I love my community and what we built together on Mixer. I have some decisions to make and will be thinking about you all as I make them. And obviously I haven't been able to verify this, so take it with a grain of salt. But we have heard that apparently they tried to offer him a lot of money, and I think he's taking his time to decide what is best for his platform going forward. Because him leaving, well, I mean, obviously he profited in the end, but him leaving Twitch was a massive shift, and that was at a time when a bunch of people were being offered money to come over to Mixer exclusively, and now they can just do whatever they want. Gothalion did confirm he will be staying with Facebook, it sounds like. So that's what we know so far.
Do you have any sort of idea like how popular Facebook gaming is? I don't myself.
It's not particularly popular. There are a few Destiny streamers who host tournaments and stuff over there, but it's just sort of it's a pretty big shock.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sorry, what were you
I'm
saying,
kind of
King?
curious. No, I was going to say, so Facebook gaming, is that specifically or solely just focused on gaming, or is there like any like IRL, like people that live stream their lives, or is it just gaming?
I don't know the answer to that. I honestly don't know very much about the Facebook gaming platform specifically. It's not something that I stream on or am really well versed in, so I couldn't speak to that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mention it because like I have a lot of IRL live streamer friends that were banned on Twitch and they moved to you. I mentioned this to you earlier. Like I have some friends that they were banned on Twitch, moved to YouTube. YouTube changed their algorithm, so they decided to move to a new platform, which was Mixer. And so they were able to and they solely stream. They don't do anything else. They're just digital content creators. So they were building their platform on Mixer, and again, they built a fan base on Mixer to sustain their lifestyles. And now with this happening, some of them also, they don't game. So like I'm kind of that leaves them in like a weird area now. It's like they've lost their audience on YouTube because they moved off of YouTube to go to Mixer. And they're not gamers, and Facebook gaming, if it's just gaming and they're banned on Twitch, it's like
where do you go?
It's yeah, exactly, So I'm kind of worried for those few people that I know.
There's a screenshot out there somewhere on Twitter of like 5 streamers all finding out live that their platform is shutting down. Like it was definitely not communicated in a good manner. A lot of people found out morning of. It was a thing. And we actually have somebody writing a story about this right now for IGN. Trying to find it right now. Sorry. Khalif is writing a story for IGN right now. He was on Unlocked a few weeks back when I wasn't, TD world for a month. But yeah, so he's sort of writing up all of this for IGN.com right now. And it's a lot. There's a lot about this story.
So
definitely...
I'm not.
Go ahead, Casey.
I was just gonna say I'm not defending Microsoft, but I'm just wondering like what would have been the better way to do it, because if they had notified all of the streamers first and everyone who streamed on their platform and even employees, I mean, I guess not so much employees, but if they had informed their streamers first, then the streamers would have been able to use their own messaging, so they wouldn't have been able to control the way that message was released. So what would have been the better way to do this?
I think they could have made like. Well, I was going to say they could have made like a public announcement, but before they actually did this, like months in advance. It's kind of what YouTube has done with like the whole COPPA thing that was happening, where they were like changing. You have to identify this video as being a video for kids, or if it's for adults. Like they let us know like far in advance that they're going to be shifting, and you're going to have to do this moving forward. They made a public statement, and it's like you have to figure out if you make kids content, what you're going to do moving forward once this change is implemented. Seems like Mixer, they just like today, but they just like flip the switch, and like people are finding out like day of, and I feel like that's a horrible way to kind of just like deliver that type of information, especially to the content creators that kind of help you grow your platform to what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks like people only have a month to figure it out. It looks like July 22nd, and we'll redirect all Mixer sites and apps to Facebook
a whole
gaming.
Month.
Yeah. That's not a whole lot of time.
No.
Yeah, if I had to guess, a lot of them are going to go over to Twitch probably. Some will probably go to Facebook. I don't see this as like a major win for Facebook in the long run. I think most people, just because of usability reasons and easy to translate reasons, they're just going to move over to Twitch, right? What do you guys think?
Do you think? Well, I wanted to know from you, Destin, actually, like who can compete with Twitch at this point? Like even YouTube can't really, right? They're not on the same level.
Well, YouTube has paid some streamers to stream there exclusively, and I think YouTube is really the only competition in the market right now. They got one of the 100 Thieves members. I'm blanking on his name off the top of my head. Courage is over on YouTube exclusively streaming there, and yeah, so I think you hit the nail on the head, Damon. Facebook, has their own challenges right now that they're dealing with, and maybe they can start to build something, but I think both platforms need to figure out user accessibility, and nobody has done that as well as Twitch has, in my opinion. Like the way that they have hosting set up, the way that they have emotes set up, the way that they have community tools set up. And yes, all of those things can improve on Twitch, but it just seems like YouTube's getting there and Facebook's lagging the furthest behind in those avenues.
I also think in general, a lot of people are becoming Facebook averse. Like I know when Facebook acquired WhatsApp, we all left WhatsApp and all moved over to Telegram. And I know a lot of people don't want to be involved with something that's owned by Facebook because of privacy reasons and other ways that Facebook has broken people's trust in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that was very surprising news today, but we're almost out of time, and I want to make sure we have time to discuss a news story that's a little bit more fun to think about. Apparently, Michael Keaton, he who played Batman in Batman 89 and Batman Returns, is in talks to play Batman again, reprising his role. And this comes from The Hollywood Reporter. Indicates he's in talks to appear in the upcoming Flash movie alongside Ezra Miller's Barry Allen. And so there's some... The theory is that he would be like sort of Samuel Jackson's Nick Fury in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as sort of like an older statesman who sort of like brings characters together, offers advice, sort of like helps them along the right path. And then a lot of people are assuming that because the Flash is a speedster and is able to, open up different dimensions, that he would be able to open up the DC universe to a previous version of Batman, Michael Keaton's, as opposed to Ben Affleck's Batman. To me, this is very exciting because I'm of the age that when I was like 12 years old when Batman came out. Well, not that old. I was like 10 years old when Batman came out. So I'll always love Michael Keaton's Batman. Destin, we were talking about this briefly before the show. Would you be excited to see Michael Keaton as Batman again?
Heck yeah. I mean, like he would play that older Dark Knight Batman, right? And he's at the age in real life where it would be a really, really interesting role for him to play. And I would absolutely love that. And then Casey, you brought up Batman Beyond.
Yeah, just seeing an older Batman makes me want a Batman Beyond set in a cyberpunk setting with two Batmans, the older mentor Batman and of course the young teenager Terry, or maybe they'll come up with another name for him if they come up with a new movie. But I love that series, and I think a futuristic Batman would be awesome to see with the special effects that the movies are capable of putting out now. So I'm not even thinking about the Flash. I'm just thinking about other things that are probably not going to happen, but sucks for me.
I think the Flash movie, I'm not positive, but I think it's going to deal with the multiverse or time travel or something. And I think we might actually get that chance to see the Flash sort of do his thing and get to explore these other worlds. I know the CW did something with that realm and the Speed Force, and I don't really understand all the comic things that are going on with it, but it does give them an opportunity to do a little bit of fan service and hit up Batman Beyond or hit up the Dark Knight, old retired Batman. And I would eat that up. I would go to that movie for sure.
Yeah, and I'll tell you guys right now, like the Flash is the best way to kind of do that because like you mentioned, Destin, like they did it on the CW. Like John Wesley Shipp, he was the guy that played the Flash in the 90s television series. They brought him back to reprise his role as the Flash in the CW's Flash. And of course, we all know in Crisis on Infinite Earths on the CW, Ezra Miller's Flash met briefly the CW's Flash. So I feel like if anyone can usher in this new wave of bringing back like classic, bringing back people that played these classic characters in different movies, it is the Flash. Like I would love to see, he's probably not going to do it, like Christian Bale come back as like, Batman, or Burt Ward reprise his role as Robin today. Which probably, again, wouldn't happen. But again, like the Flash can do that.
Yeah. Bring back George Clooney. Bring back Val Kilmer. Bring them all back. I mean, like this is, even just like including Michael Keaton, that's what gets me excited about a Flash movie. Otherwise, if there's just a Flash movie coming out, I wouldn't be particularly excited about that.
The way you're talking about it makes it sound like it's a Flash movie, sure, but is it actually just the Batverse?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Small thing chat wanted us to bring up about the previous story. I'll just throw it out there. Facebook did acquire, like 3 hours ago, we published it on IGN. They acquired Ready at Dawn, the people that made the Order 1886 to develop VR games. So
that's true. Yeah, I wanted to bring that up too. We're short on time.
Yeah.
Oh, I think someone's trying to play us off. Someone's
just playing us off? Really?
They're trying to play us off.
I want to thank my mom. I want to thank. Like we just won an award.
Wow. I've never been played off my own show before. Maybe I'm hosting the show tomorrow, so maybe we'll try to talk about Ready at Dawn and the Order 1886 tomorrow on the show. But that's all the time we have. Thank you to Casey. Thank you, Hakeem. Thank you, Destin. Thank you, everybody watching. News, games, and more. We'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. We'll see you then.
Take care.